I believe that a business, your business, my business, any business is a bet with the future. A bet that what you sell today, whether it be ice machines, golf apps, lawnmowers, will sell tomorrow. Of course, whatever niche you're in, there'll be others, often with similar backgrounds, willing to wake up every day and roll the dice against you. And sure enough, like you, they'll be making informed incremental adjustments based on their wages. Now, you can win big, move the country, buy a super fast Ferrari and pack the kids off to boarding school. And yes, like Blockbuster, you can also bet everything on the wrong hunch. But what doesn't kill you, right? Now, given that gambling isn't an exact science in the betting against future businesses, you can trust that Lady Luck has got your number sewn into her cotton socks. And gut instinct is a real thing. Just take a look at these headlines from publications including Wired, the Financial Times, and Forbes eagerly predicting the imminent demise of Apple back in 1996. But if Apple had crumbled back then, it would have been the sorry end to a potential great Hollywood-worthy riches to rags to riches story. But here's the deal. No one can predict the future, not without any degree of certainty. So how do you inspire and motivate your ideal target market? How do you resonate and keep resonating with them? And how do you stand out in a saturated market? Well, what often does work is learning from history. So let's just say you could travel 5 years into the future and ask a bunch of customers what went wrong with your new site. What might they say? Too slow, hard to read, uninspiring, outdated. In other words, what you rushed out is a monster. What you actually rushed out was a Frankenstein.
All right, good. Check the generator.
Yes, master.
Life! Life, do you hear me? Give my creation life!
We've all seen them. And not just the lumbering old dinosaurs that take an age to load. Inconsistent typography, cliched imagery, and a style that could only be described as lame. Sure, you have a ship, it's alive, and you have to push something credible out there. But palm reading the future these days is much easier than what it once was. So let's give your next website creation life and build a brand that your ideal clients will love. And that's what I'll be covering in my presentation today. Why using harmonious compositions is the key to either standing out from a crowd or blending right into it. Why choosing the right typography is the key to attracting customers and connecting them with what you do. Why designing for readers and not users is the key to turning more browsers into buyers. And finally, I'll demonstrate how the big brands use divine mathematics to build customer loyalty and how you can do it too. Now, to prove this approach, a while back I decided to carry out an experiment. To know whether there was a proven way of increasing brand awareness to a site without relying on paid media. Now, it's key to understand that the web page that I created had little in terms of traffic. Pretty much like everybody else's web pages. But rather than creating the usual content, I approached things a little bit differently, which I'll come on to. But the results of the experiment was astounding. This single web page, at its peak, resulted in an increase of over 218,000% in organic traffic, over 9,000 new website visitors, 14,000 social sessions, 2.2 thousand social shares, and one particular tweet received over 70 retweets and 227 likes. The page was liked and shared by Smashing Magazine, Microsoft, Tech Portfolio, and IBM Cloud Canada, just to name a few. And my conclusion to this little experiment was this. It's a lot easier to get talked about if you empower people with all the information they need to make smarter decisions. But your brand deliverables can't fall short. And by this, I'm borrowing Seth Godin's definition. Remarkable things get remarked upon. So I set myself a new goal. To find, and if there wasn't one around, create a scientifically backed formula for rolling out remarkable online brands. An approach that's taken me 4 years to perfect, and here's how some of it goes. Have you ever wondered what makes the Mona Lisa so enigmatic? Why we're in awe of the spiral galaxy? Or why the ancient buildings like the Parthenon are so pleasing to behold? Yes, such wonders are wonderful because of their sheer scale, because we can appreciate the skill, the rare human or cosmic genius that has gone into their creation. But wonders aren't wonderful by chance, unless God really does play dice. You see, the creators of the sublime have a trick up their sleeve. And that trick, you might say, put a smile on Mona Lisa's face. And that trick comes in the form of a magic number. And no, it's not 3. This number, also known as the golden ratio, is 1.618. And it makes magic in our world just as much as it does in the animal world too. Take honeybees. If you divide the number of female bees by the number of male bees in any given hive, you'll get 1.618. Or sunflowers. Sunflowers with opposing spirals have a 1.618 ratio between each rotation. And now it's your turn. Try measuring from your shoulder to your fingertips. Then divide this number by the length of your elbow to your fingertips. Yes, it's 1.618. Consciously or not, the birds, the bees, the sunflowers in our world use the same cunning trick to thrive as Da Vinci uses to create art. You see, he knew that his patrons were more capable of interpreting a painting featuring the golden ratio faster and better than any other. And that's why the brands like Pepsi, Apple, Twitter use it too. But how does this relate to you? Well, if the big brands can use it to grow a brand, then you can use it too. For example, you can redesign the proportions of your logo to stand out from the crowd instead of blending right into it. You can overlay the golden spiral on your social media images to see which elements it wear and if they really do create harmony. You can use it to define your website layout, decide where the focal points need to be, or which elements need to be shifted to give the design a lot more energy. All in a way that draws your visitors in to what matters most. And to see it in action, just visit An Artful Science. View a blog post and click on the hidden toggle bottom left. Just like peering through an X-ray, you can see the hidden golden ratio settings as applied to the layout. And just as the golden ratio can be applied to spatial dimensions, the ratio can also be applied to your brand colours too. By simply using the golden ratio between the RGB values of 0 to 255, you can choose the perfect colour combinations to define the ultimate mood of your brand. Whether you're designing a book, a business card, a letterhead or a website, the golden ratio creates an undeniable aesthetic and emotional appeal. Which is lucky, because we buy on emotion. Which brings me on to the final step. How to engage your website visitors with something you'll know they'll love to read. Now, remember when your best friend told you about that hot new Italian restaurant in town? They'd been drowning on about it for weeks. Chic decor, decadent cuisine, so you decided to see what all the fuss was all about. You enter. A waiter guides you to the table. You nose around. Cool crowd. This is very you. Finally, you lift up the menu. What a crude popinjay of a font. What a chintzy menu. If the food is this pitiful, you're in the wrong place. You make your excuses and skedaddle. Okay, I'm not talking about a restaurant here, although this did happen to me once. I'm talking about how websites often get everything right. Tasty design, sumptuous content, and spoil the whole experience with the typography. And if your font looks cheap, if the body copy is a forbidding wall, if there are too many clever distractions getting in the way of what might be a really great read, then that really great offer you have will go unread. You see, typography works alongside the verbal language to create, enhance, and alter meaning. It sets the tone for entire brand experiences. And when done well, nobody notices. Like the editing of a well-made film, or furniture arranged in a room. People will always say, that was a really great movie, or this calf is really nice. Yet for most, typography is an afterthought, even if it's a thought at all. And despite all the selfies, TED Talks, and cat videos, the web is still 95% words. Marking Witchery, another typographer, demonstrated 20 subtleties hidden in a paragraph. 20 typographical details he found gorgeous. I find them gorgeous too. But okay, you're not a typographer, or a web designer for that matter, but at the very least you should invest in screen optimized fonts. You see, screen optimized fonts are specifically designed for digital displays, so the render quality is outstanding even at 9 pixels, and they include all the hidden subtleties. Whereas free fonts either have a high uptake by others, don't scale down too well, don't include all the finer details. So let's look at a few examples to see the real power of typography. Now, Huffington Post uses Proxima Nova for all their copying content. Now just imagine this font, Griffey, being used instead. What would the readers say? How would they feel? And fonts can also be playful. As you can see on this toilet seat, using offbeat fonts in unexpected places can surprise and even amuse, while also serving a practical purpose. Does the toilet seat sticker make you smile and the action more fun to perform? It's a great idea, and now you know the secret of this subtlety. You see, what every other web designer believes about web design is actually wrong. You don't design for users, you design for readers. A great website is only a great website if it's a great read. That's the power of typography, and that's the principle behind our typography first powered websites.